One thing I definitely want to mention about this film is I have a very personal relationship to this film because it was one of the first R-rated movies I ever saw as a kid.
Oh, nice.
I don't even know how I got it. I'm pretty sure I saw it on VHS, but I don't remember exactly how. But this was one of the first films to traumatize me. Because
was there a scene? What was the scene?
And there's a specific scene, and it might weird you out what scene it is.
Oh, okay.
It's actually the scene where he kills or where he shoots the attempted rapist.
Oh, right in the dick?
Right in the dick.
Big old dick shot, yeah.
But it wasn't because of the dick shot. I guess it was because this is a heroic scene. And I think this is what plays into this movie's strengths and into Verhoeven's own weird sickness, insanity, which we got into on Basic Instinct with Danny. Yeah. But what's so odd about this scene is that this is a very heroic, chivalrous scene. This is a dude trying to rape a woman.
Yeah.
And RoboCop being like, stop, and shooting him and stopping him. And you read that on paper and you're like, that's a hero scene. But the way that this is filmed and the way that he has almost a weird... obviously because at this point he's part robot, but he has like a very impassionate way of dealing this out. And the way that he shoots through her dress and through her thighs with no regard that there's anything else there, to shoot him in the dick, and then she comes over and she's thanking him, and he has such an inhuman response.
It's like, go to a rehabilitation center, or something like that. I almost pulled an Arnold there, but it was like go.
He's like, I have notified the rape clinic or whatever it is, or whatever. Yeah. There's just something...
After she's like crying and trying to hug him.
Yeah, there's just something that still feels icky about that to me while watching that. And as a kid, I was like...
You're still just a number.
I was like, is he the good guy?
Yeah.
I mean, and which is just baffling when you're watching a scene where he's a movie where he is the good guy, but he's sort of like a weird monster that's been created, where he's the innocent family man, he's the officer of the law, and now he's also part corporate machine, and none of these three things can exist together. And I think that's what this film eventually comes down to.
Yeah, because he starts having that battle within inside
himself.
Yeah,
which is honestly surprisingly moving, even watching it now, because you watch it and he goes into his house and he's having images of his family in this house come up, and he's... it's overwhelming him, and he doesn't understand because his brain's been wiped.
Right. So technically, it'd be weird because he's feeling these emotions probably, but he doesn't know what the root of those emotions are. So he's just kind of like, he's got to be stuck in this weird emotional limbo that just doesn't make any sense.
This is the movie where the Terminator is the protagonist.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And where he doesn't understand his existence. He looks like a human, but not really. He doesn't act like one. He's not supposed to be one. He's a product.
Yeah.
This is a movie about the death of a man and the birth of a product.
Yeah. And
how he's both at the same time. And that's where it gets into this really weird... and Peter Weller's performance is a huge part of why this works.
It's stellar.
Going back to actually Kale's review, she described this... Even though she wasn't a big fan of the movie, she was a huge fan of his performance, which she described as... almost like going back and watching an old Hollywood monster movie like Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Where, like, especially, there's something really just poetic and soulful about the part where he takes his visor off.
That's unbelievable.
And he's looking in the mirror, and he's confused, but... I don't know. There's so many feelings happening at the same time where he's trying to reconcile his place as both. He's not just a machine. Again, he's a product.
Yeah.
And his place as a man, and how these two things don't work together, and how, sort of like in Terminator, how we've merged them in a way that is unstoppable.
Yeah.
And is gonna just kill us all.
Oh, for sure. And I wanted to speak to just the prosthetics. I think it was actually the same guy that did The Thing, so it makes a lot of sense that these are amazing. So fucking good.
Even the fact that it was 3 years after Terminator and the stop motion stuff looks amazing, and the prosthetics.
Oh yeah, like when it shows his half face and the half robot head, it looks amazing. Like they've made it so it looks like his skin is actually folded in half, and like I don't know how they did it. It's honestly unbelievably good.
Yeah.
It looks totally real. Like it looks like this dude's a half robot. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, they kind of they shine it with some CGI, and like you'd have that kind of uncanny valley thing, but with the use of prosthetics here, it truly is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that they do the blood effects as well, like when they get to Kurtwood Smith's inevitable death at the end. He stabs him right in the neck, and like you see this shot of him just a big old stream of blood just like
looks awesome, like right out of his jugular.
Yeah, and
like,
actually that was one of the scenes that was cut from the non-director's cut.
You gotta keep
I know,
that, man.
I gotta say, if you guys haven't seen the director's cut specifically, that's the one you gotta see just for these.
Yeah, because a huge part of why this works at all for me is that this is a case. This is obviously, you know, the people and humanity versus the corporation, and the way that Verhoeven has filmed this, it's flesh versus steel. It's just it's that classic dichotomy. It's the same thing with. It's very similar to Terminator in that sense.